Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining the inaugural Season of Giving show here. Very excited to speak to everyone, share a little bit about the work that I'm doing at Cherry Willow, and just kind of get some education about how you guys can support us, but more importantly, how you can support the people that are experiencing homelessness that we are seeking to serve. So really just going to kind of go through a little bit of an introduction of myself, introduce the organization, and just shed some light on, why we're an apparel company and the importance of apparel and fashion when it comes to advocacy. And so just a little bit about my story. So I come from a sales and marketing background. I worked with a lot of dealerships local to the Chicago area for a long time and consulted with them on branding. And apparel was a large function of my role there. And I would coordinate with different dealerships to make sure that the holistic customer experience when people were walking in, the apparel could oftentimes set the tone for what people would expect as they went throughout their engagement. And I wanted to try to figure out a way to leverage apparel to be like a visible sign of hope and advocacy for people in my community that were experiencing homelessness. My first opportunity to serve that population came when I was attending Loyola University Chicago. I did some service work with a group where we would create sack lunches and go around the streets of downtown Chicago and just pass them out and have conversations with the people that were living on the street. And as a young 18, 19-year-old kid, that was really impactful because I did not have a tremendous amount of homeless population in Dayton, Ohio, where I grew up. Always grew up, we were involved in the church and we would serve migrant workers that came to our communities. And so service work has always been really important to me. And it kind of comes from the tenets of unconditional love. This was something that my mother in particular has always exhibited to me. And I feel like that unconditional love for people and just being there and supporting them is a really powerful thing. And that's what I sought to create with Cherry Willow, that this is just a symbol of hope and that there are people that are efforting to make a difference and support people that are experiencing homelessness. You know, During the stream today, we'll talk a little bit about some of the misconceptions that are out there with what causes people to be on the street. A lot of people, I think, and certainly a misconception I had, was that anyone that's on the street, is battling addiction and mental health issues. And while those issues are prevalent amongst the people that are currently homeless, those issues are also widespread throughout society. And so it's not those people's fault that they're in that situation. And oftentimes it's a systemic issue. And that's really one of the things that we're looking to address is, the nature of Cherry Willow and the logo. In nature, when the trees are in bloom and in blossom, they get all the attention. But in order for that process to happen, they have to shed their leaves and, really go through the cyclical process of a downtime. And I think as people, we often neglect that and we focus only on the people who have achieved, the highest levels of what we consider success in our society, whether that's monetarily or, and from a career standpoint. But everyone that is in this world is beautiful and deserves our support. And so that's the symbolism behind the logo and kind of how I came up with that concept, was to just reinvigorate the beauty of nature that is present within all of us every day. And particularly as I've worked more with people that are experiencing homelessness, I've seen how much positivity they bring in these really difficult situations. And so I always encourage people to take action and take an interest in these people that are in our communities, and understand them and how we can support them. That little moment of just human connection can be a spark for someone and can have a really powerful impact on how they go about the rest of their day. And so for me, that's extremely powerful. Um, and if you want to check out our work that we're doing to change the perceptions of homelessness, we have a lot of information on our website, particularly if you go to the impact section, which you can find right here in the chat. That's where we're sharing a lot of the stories. I have been volunteering at my local shelter for the last couple of years, every single week. And I just love showing up and getting to spend time around these group of people. And there's such a good community that is built. And there are a lot of stories that really deserve to be told. And that's what Cherry Willow is about. We're about meeting people where they're at, understanding them, and seeking to understand how we can help them. And again, the apparel, like there's a lot of cause-based apparel companies, even companies that really support people experiencing homelessness. But the visible component and being able to have, the logo that people can see when they're out in the community, that's a really powerful thing. Because one of the things, as I've worked in the shelter, over the past few years, I've really addressed a lot of misconceptions that people that are in the shelter, they work. 40 to 60% of people that are currently experiencing homelessness have jobs. So they're out at Walmart or at Target, and they're working a normal day, and then they return to the shelter. So you may not know that the people that you're coming across are currently experiencing homelessness, and it's not an easy thing for people to share and be vulnerable with. But by wearing Cherry Willow apparel, when you walk past that person, now they know that you support them, without even necessarily you having to know that you support them, because you may not know what they're experiencing. And that's what we're trying to do, is just inspire building of community, and inspire just positive action, because it starts with action, and without action, there's nothing, no change can be made. And so when you are looking at the biases that you may have, just go into it with an open mind and really seek to learn about these people and their experiences. And I think that you will be really surprised by, what you find the more that you interact with people that are living on the street or currently living in a shelter. The more that you'll find that they're just the same as you and I. They're beautiful people with beautiful stories, and they deserve a home, and they deserve housing. And that's what we are working to achieve at Cherry Willow, not only to create that visible sign of hope and advocacy through apparel, but also to really be building towards creating more affordable housing, advocating for the creation of more affordable housing, and then supporting people once they get into that housing, whether that be with mental health services, addiction services, all of the different components that go into support, and really just building community, because community is what we need now. And especially when you see how divided the nation has been recently, regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, we need to come together more to support each other. And that's one of the things that I advocate for with Cherry Willow. And actually, by attending this stream today, we're going to give away a couple of merchandise items so that you can be, that visible sign of hope and advocacy in your community, and you can start to tell our story, and help us grow and accelerate our mission. And so one other thing that I just wanted to touch on, which was really helped me come up with the idea, was a philosophy that I embody, and it's called Ikigai. I actually have a tattoo on my forearm, if you can see it there. It's 4 intersecting circles, and it's the intersection of what you are good at, what you love to do, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And that fourth bit is kind of crucial in a capitalist society, because in order to really make change, there has to be money behind it. And so by trying to advocate for sustainability, and with apparel manufacturing in an eco-conscious way, we're trying to address a lot of those different things. And that's how I was able to leverage, my sales and marketing background and really figure out a way to inspire real change in my community by being an advocate for, the people that are experiencing homelessness. And so I'm really excited to share more of these stories with the people that I work with and that I come across, and really bring this opportunity to make an impact through apparel to a larger group of individuals who also want to build that community of people that care and are compassionate, and they want to get involved in supporting the people that are experiencing homelessness in their communities. And I'm really excited to bring on my co-founder, David Gray. David, thank you for joining.
Hi, everybody. I'm David Gray. Yep, co-founder and strategic advisor of Cherry Willow Apparel. I'm also the CEO and founder of Core Team Partners. My drive and focus is to, really help impactful startups bring visions to life. So, Matt and I have built a foundation since January. It's been a wonderful journey. We have, launched the brand, the website, recruited a stellar team. We've secured some funding. We've spearheaded some TV and PR initiatives. Things are really growing, and it's a wonderful journey to be part of. And we're just going to talk briefly about an initiative that we have going on, which is part of our success is going to be the launch of our 2025 summer product line. And in order to do that, that initiative begins in January. And so there's going to be an opportunity for the organization to generate about $500,000 in wholesale sales to really grow this brand. And from that, approximately $100,000 we'll be able to use just from that first initiative to directly support those affected by homelessness. So we're going to have some funding opportunities mixed between debt, donation, a little hybrid of, and come January 3rd, we'll have a nice formal package we could share with everyone. So we'll try to get, a list together, and anybody who's interested, please email David at cherrywillowapparel.com, and hopefully we could share the LinkedIn link to the company as well. So that's it for now.
Yeah, thank you, David, for educating the people a little bit on how they can get involved. And in addition to investing in our brand, we're also looking for businesses that want to collaborate with us to come up with a really cool designs for your staff, so that you can put together a package of let the people know that you're supporting a brand that's really working to change the perceptions of homelessness in the United States, and ultimately working towards making a dent in ending homelessness. And so that's a really cool way that you can get involved in your company. Talk to us. We'd love to create a design that represents you, but then also has the Cherry Willow attached to it, so that we can really extend our mission and start to have more of those conversations. Really the power of storytelling is really powerful, and wearing apparel, it can be just a conversation starter. What is that Cherry Willow? Oh yeah, this is this brand that works with people that are experiencing homelessness and is working to provide them access to resources and to tell their stories, so that people can get a better understanding of the realities that are faced by people that are on the streets every day. And this is an issue that's only going to continue to grow as we've seen affordable housing, be more and more difficult to acquire. Americans, if you look at data from the U.S. Census Bureau, over 50% of Americans are spending more than 30% of their income on housing. And that is not sustainable. And so we really need more community action and community support to support not only us, Cherry Willow, but also wherever you're at. I'm sure there's a nonprofit in your community that could use some volunteers. And there's people that are in your community that could use your support. So just try to pause and ask yourself, do I have an extra hour this week that I could go out and really make an impact for someone. Because oftentimes just showing up for people, that's what people need, and that's something that it just requires a little bit of thought and a little bit of time, but we're all capable of that. And that's the more people that we have coming together to really build each other up, the better our society can be. And for me, like, that's why serving the people that are experiencing homelessness is so powerful, because of the stories that I've heard and the stories that I'm excited to be able to tell and bring to you all. And I hope that this inspires you to make a change in some of your interactions each day. Whether you're walking past people that are currently homeless, if you're in a big metropolitan area, or if you're in a more rural area, just kind of being aware of the people that could use your support in your community. And I understand everyone's not in a position to donate to some of these causes in terms of a monetary donation. But that's why, with the apparel, if you are looking for gifts, it's a great way to give, not also just a piece of apparel, but you're also giving an emphasis on the mission and the cause that we're supporting. And that can, again, help someone change how they act. Now by wearing Cherry Willow Apparel, now you're more interested in the people that are in your community that are experiencing homelessness. And then it can help you try to change some of the perceptions that you may have about the people and what they're dealing with and how you can help. Because I assure you, there are ways that you can help, and it doesn't always have to be exclusively through monetary donations. Through advocating for people, going out and meeting people, it just opens up the possibility and connections that you can make, and those connections are very powerful, and the ripple effect from what they do, you can be very surprised, how just one interaction with someone can really light a spark and change the way that they operate, and help them to build the lives that they want for themselves. So very much emphasized on empowerment. And again, with the apparel, we're a visible sign of hope for the people in our communities. And that's something that's really exciting. And so I really appreciate you all, taking some time out of your busy days to learn a little bit more about our mission, the work that we're doing. As David mentioned, we have a really passionate team who is excited about making change in this area. So please tune in to the website, tune into our social media. We're going to be putting out content more regularly, and really excited about the type of content that we're going to be getting out there. It's going to be a lot of data and research from other sources like the Census Bureau, as I mentioned, and then also just stories from the people that we interact with in our communities. And that's at the end of the day, my mission is to inspire people like you to just take a step towards helping and supporting people. Take an interest in the people that are experiencing homelessness in your community. And if we're able to come together, we can build something that's really powerful, and help empower these people to get off the streets, and into homes. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. So thank you for joining the Apparel with Purpose live stream. I'm sure there will be more to come on this. And then if you are interested in learning more about funding options, please contact David. If you would like to learn more about the co-branded apparel initiative, please reach out to me directly. It's going to be matt@cherrywillowapparel.com. And those are just a few of the ways that you can support us. And we're really excited about what we're building. David and I have been working on this for a year, and now we have some other team members that are really helping to expand our impact. And very excited for the positive impact that we're going to create for the people experiencing homelessness in our communities and across the country. So thank you again for joining the stream. And would love for you guys to visit the website, follow us on social media, and just kind of stay to date with all of the exciting initiatives that we're going to be working on.